しすぎる嘘に書き換えた箱に閉じ込めた空の断片が未来のパズルにはまってくれない無限界の推論はノイズ吐き出して神さえも欺くもし約束のあの場所へ僕らは宇宙のまで知らないゼロの弦の開くの全ては粒となり再生するそれなら途切れそうな意識もつなぎ止めてみせるよあの時間あの場所で君の時がもう一度始まる
All right, let's go. Come on, let us load. I had to remind myself where we were last stream, and I believe, well, this is the truth of Steins, yes. But I believe we were looking for Kuris's memory data. And we've embraced the return of Hoinkyoma, which I'm super happy about. It didn't feel like... You know what? I have this problem. I should start taking notes of where I stop in games. What do you mean by that? Like you don't remember where you were last time, or...? Speaking of notes, let me whip out my notes. Oh, so one thing that I learned from Darkwood that as a system worked very well for me is at the end of the stream, I would do like a quick recap of what happened and what was going through my mind and what I want to do next. And so before I start the next stream, I would go back and rewatch the last 5 minutes of my last stream. And it's like, okay, here we go. We got this. Steins Gate, on the other hand, is less able to do that, I think. Or less of a need to do that, right? Because there's not a lot of like player action on that regard. But that worked really well for me. So maybe give that a shot. But yeah, taking notes helped too, a lot. So we have a new operation. It's like the good old days are back with us. The operation with names that I cannot pronounce. A full day had passed since the operation began. Daru still hadn't managed to break the lock on that folder. Thankfully, they hadn't detected him yet, but that didn't mean we were safe. While Daru did his work, I finished my own, and then handed the rest off to Maho. My actions might have changed the future already, but we still had to do our jobs. Suzuha had her arms crossed, expression stern. She had been that way for a while. At a glance, she looked calm, but I could see her tapping her arm with her index finger.
おじさん、私たちにできることはないの?
She's the action kind, isn't she? She hates sitting still. We were finally ready to stop World War III. It had to bother her that there was nothing she could do. It had to be stopped as soon as possible, and all she could do now was wait. It's a practice of patience. It's good for you, Suzuha. She was frustrated and on edge, but that was true of everyone else. I guess who got distracted the last time up to start a stream? I did. Me. I'm one of them. We started late today because I got distracted, so you didn't miss much. But welcome in, Hordian. How are you? I hope you're having a good one. Happy Friday. Yeah, yes, exactly.
もう少しだ。ダルもマホも頑張ってくれている。
Once Maho completed what I had asked for, there would be something we could do too. Having a slower week. You're late getting home. It's good the stream got delayed. Welcome in, Snazzle. It's good to see you. Happy Friday. Ooh, cinnamon candy. I must say though, for all my love for cinnamon, I guess hot take, I don't like cinnamon candy. I feel like cinnamon's great when it's with like milk-based stuff. But if it's just cinnamon, mid, probably. Valid opinion. Thank you very much. I think it's when the spiciness of cinnamon shines through beyond its sweetness. That's when it gets me. And cinnamon rolls. Well, cinnamon rolls, I guess you could call bread milk-based or dairy-based. Both the candy and the people, yes. Alright, so we're playing the waiting game. What's going on?
甘いものとか買ってくるにゃ。疲れた時には甘いものが一番にゃ。
I agree with that.
あ、それじゃあ僕も。
Just as the two of them stood up, the development room's curtain opened. Maho, that does not look like great news. What's going on? So where are we at again? We came back from the future and our Hoenkyoma. Yes, we've re-embraced Hoenkyoma. And we decided that we need to delete Kurisa's memory data. Like, forever. So we're trying to hack into, I think it's Victor Condria University's locked folder to delete the memory data because we think it's stored in there, right? And we also found out, oh, was it a Stratfo database? One of them. One of the two. And but it's the I think Daru is trying to hack into the locked folder. Tokyo Denki University? Could be. Oh yeah, because Stratfo has a base, right? In Denki. Hey Steve, how are you? Happy Friday. And I'm struggling today. Nope, lost a train of thought. Yeah, so I guess Stratfo has a base inside Tokyo Denki University, right? It's slowly coming back to me, but we will see. But was Kurisa's stored there? I would have thought that Kurisa's memory was stored on Victor Condria's. But anyway, I guess where it was stored isn't hugely important, and I'm sure the game will remind us later on. But we're basically, Daru is trying to hack into it to remove it, and then Maho is trying to build the time leap machine for us, I believe. Happy Friday. Are we all okay? I am much better than I was about an hour ago. So I'm doing well. The weekend has started. Maho flinched a little as everyone stared at her, but she quickly smiled. Then she thought better of it and tried to look more serious. Oh.
まったく大変なことをいっぺんに頼まないでよね。
すまん。それで終わったのか？
言われたことは一応ね。
The microwave in the back was connected to a different headset than the one I'd seen last year. It was the same one she'd used to take my memories. That's why she'd been able to finish this in such a short time. A time leap machine. So it was done then. Now, even if I had to time leap from the future, I could go back to 48 hours from now. Oh yeah, we did the 3,000 time leap too, right? Okay. Where am I in my notes? So, Maho recreated the time leap machine.
それからこっちも。
She offered me a pair of smartphones. These gadgets will be our secret weapons in the upcoming battle. Oh, okay. I had Maho make them too. They used a simple AI to create a pseudo-response algorithm that would deceive our opponents.
さすがだな。こんな短時間に AI を作るなんて。
Okay. I need to figure out controls. Where are my controls? Where's the control? Config was... Okay, so it seems like we can't pull up the phone on our own will anymore, right? Was there help? Help, thank you. Ha! Okay, so Z wasn't doing anything. So the control is still pretty much the same as last game. So no phone yet. Sorry if you're quiet, still playing Diablo 4. Don't worry about it. We have other Diablo 4 lovers in the stream too. So absolutely. I'm glad you're here though.
"自分で頼んでおいてよく言うわ。
Her face looked exhausted. Somehow, like the genius girls just gets slaved away in our in the future gadgets lab.
アマデウスで使っている音声ソフトがあったから流用して開発期間を短縮したの。それにこれは AI なんて大層な代物じゃない。こんなものでごまかせるのかしら。相手はクリスなのよ。
少しの時間だけでも騙せればそれでいいんだ。ダルのハッキングから連中の目をそらせればそれでいい。
Oh, that's right. Okay, I had forgotten about this. So we needed to distract Stratfo so that Daru can have time. Well, time and the leisure, right, to be able to hack into Stratfo's database. So we're gonna try to deceive them with, I guess, Amadeus or signals of Amadeus. The goal was just to keep Stratfo confused. We didn't need to hold a long conversation. We'd just hook it up for a short time and end the call shortly afterward. It was time to get started. But first... I hit the send button on a message I'd already typed out. To Kiryu Moika, just do it like we discussed. Okay? Once it was done, I turned toward the group.
では、作戦の概要を説明する。
Suzuha, Mayuri, Ferris, Lukako. I offered them the phones that I had just been given by Maho.
4人には2人1組になってもらう。そうしたらこのスマホを持って都内を動き回ってくれ。ペア同士はできるだけ離れた方がいいな。片方の組は中央線沿線、もう片方は山手線沿線ということにしよう。お互いに連絡を取り合いつつ、スマホにインストールされているアマデウスというアプリを立ち上げてくれ。
While Dado was doing his hacking, I left Akihabara and tried to contact Amadeus from Tokyo Station. And it had worked. Kurisu had responded. I cut it off instantly, but I was sure of it. The app was still working. And this plan was going to use it.
立ち上げてどうするの？
アマデウスはマキセ・クリスという人物の記憶をもとに作られた人工知能だ。俺たちは今からそいつを騙す。
That's right. Our goal was to deceive Kurisu. When we contact Amadeus, the enemy would know where we were. My plan was to take advantage
ア
of
マ
that
デウスを
fact.
立ち上げると同時にもう一つのプログラムが起動する。
もう一つのプログラムってなんだにゃ？そこの S ってマークのあるアイコンをタップしてみてもらえる？これかにゃ。
S for Sarieri. I love it. Ferris tapped her
も
phone.
しもし、俺だ。
オカリンの声だ。
And it was an entitled question mark.
話しかけてみてくれ。
今日はどうしたんだにゃ？
特に用はないんだ。少し話がしたくなってな。
すごい。自動的に答えてくれるんですね。
What I asked Maho to make was a simple program that detected words and phrases in a conversation and replied with set patterns. You could call it an artificial non-intelligence.
オカリンさんと私のボット。名付けてサリエリよ。
Thanks to the famous movie, Sarieri was known as a lesser man with an inferiority complex, but in reality, he was a very talented composer. It felt a bit rude to the real Sarieri to give his name to something like this, but there wasn't time to worry about that now. Wow. Okarin for the first time not worry about naming of things. Funnily enough, this tech nowadays is possible. I know.
アマデウスを起動すると、俺たちのボットが自動で返事をしてくれるようになっている。
つまり相手に今喋っているのは岡部さんだって思わせるということですか？
そういうことだ。
You know what this reminds me of? You know how there are like YouTube videos where you put like two scammers on speaker and have them talking to each other. Are they just gonna have one AI talk to another AI? Which meant Amadeus would think I was where they were. I would have liked to have more terminals, but since Amadeus needed a cell phone to be registered with its systems, there weren't many I could use. All I had were my phone and Maho's, but for a short time period, it would be enough. Of course, Maho's phone had her own version of Salieri, and then there was the message I sent to Moika's Rhine. The plan was for her to spread information indicating that Maho and I had Kuritz's laptop and hard drive. Even if they were doing the memory experiments, they still wouldn't want someone else getting their hands on them. Sooner or later, they'd pick up on that information and come after me with everything they had. Amadeus was in their hands. If Amadeus's location data told them I was there, they would come looking. But we wouldn't be there at all. And then they'd get a call from someplace completely different and head there. The plan was to keep them occupied with that and keep their eyes off the server
以上
hacking.
が今回の任務となる。
Everyone nodded.
くれぐれも言っておくが、アマデウスとの長時間の接触は厳禁だ。それから、アマデウスを切った後は、すぐにその場を移動すること。何かあったら、すぐに連絡をよこすこと。これだけは絶対に守ってくれ。わかったな。
私はどうすればいいのかな。
Kagari, you should stay here and be safe. Kagari raised her hand
君
hesitantly.
は連中に顔も知られている。ここから動かない方がいい。
でも私だって何か役に立ちたいよ。ママやみんなが頑張ってる中で一人何もできないでいるなんて、そんなの嫌だよ。
Well, this was a problem.
お願い、オカリンさん。私にも手伝わせて。
I understood how she felt, but I still couldn't put her in danger.
すまないが。
かがりちゃん、マユシーがかがりちゃんの分まで頑張るよ。だからオカリンの言う通りにしてね。
ママ、わかった。ママがそう言うなら。
That seemed to be good enough for her.
おじさん、かがりには全てが終わるまでどこかに隠れさせておくべきじゃないか。
そうだな。だが、どこに？
If we were going to hide her, it would have to be at Lukako's house or Ferris's place.
なんなら僕の隠れ家にでも行く？
Oh yeah. I've forgotten Daru has a hideout.
隠れ家？お前、そんなもの持ってるのか？
バイト用にいくつかあるんよ。そこでよければどうぞ。
Daru has a secret identity. I mean, we know that he's a hacker, but so cool.
よし、決まりだ。かがりもそれでいいか？
わかった。
The issue was that I couldn't leave Kagari alone.
私にも何かやらせてもらえませんか？
Whose voice is that? Can we listen to that again? Who is that? What? We need a better door. She didn't even knock. Right? I turned around and saw that at some point Yuki had entered the room. I think we need a door. Maybe we just need a door. I don't know what that is in the background. It clearly isn't working.
ユキさん。橋田さんからここの鍵預かっていたので。
Daru? Excuse me? She showed us the key in her hand apologetically. Okay, but shouldn't you still knock?
昨べ橋田さんに連絡したら、なんだか大変そうだったから差し入れようと思って持ってきたんだけど。
She put the key away and then showed us a bag with the logo of a local cake shop on it.
事情はよくわかりませんが、何かできることがあるならと思って。
Wait, sus. Didn't Ferris and Luca just said that they were gonna get something sweet, and there she is showing up with cake?
でもさ、天音氏を巻き込むわけには。
いや、かがりと一緒にいてもらうだけだ。問題ないだろう。
Before, I thought that maybe it was Yuki who had attacked the lab. But looking back, that was wrong. Why? If she was the woman in the motorcycle suit, there was no need to do something so elaborate. She could have just used the fact that she was in the same circle as Kagari to invite herself somewhere and kidnap her. There was no need to take the risk of attacking the lab.
すまなかった。
Fair.
じゃあ、ユキさんはかがりと一緒にいてくれ。すべてが終わるまでダルの隠れ家に身を潜めてもらうことになる。場所はダルに聞いてくれ。事情は落ち着いたら教える。
わかりました。
I still can't place the girl in the story. She seems around. Yeah, same. I think it's the trio, right? It's Yuki, Fubuki-chan, and Kaede as well. All three of them felt quite ancillary so far. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But she for sure seems to be taking a bigger role, but like she's kind of just like grazing the side, right? A little bit. But grazing the side enough that we kind of have to keep her in the back of our minds. So I don't know. I hope as the story develops, we get to sort of witness how she integrates with the rest into the lab. I mean, if she truly is Suzuha's mother, right? Yuki nodded. Now everything was ready. I looked around at everyone in the lab.
じゃあ、みんな、あとは手はず通りに。
待って、オカリ。お別れ言わなくていいの？クリスさんに。
Oh, the best cinnamon roll. She sees through us. It's sometimes incredible, like how in tune Mayuri is with our, and by our I mean Okarin's emotions. Goodbye. Amadeus was an artificial intelligence. She was an artificial being, not Kurisu herself.
ちゃんとお別れして。後悔しないように。
Mayuri handed back the phone I'd just given her. I know. Mayuri handed back the phone I'd just given her.
そうだな。悪いがここで少し待っていてくれるか。
えI left Mayuri and Rukako behind and went to Akihabara Bridge. If I made contact with Amadeus, she'd know where I was. That's why I'd chosen this place. This was the first place I let Kurisu see how weak I was back when everything seemed at its darkest. An advertising van passed by, blaring jauntily opera music at a loud volume that clashed horribly with his flashy paint job. I waited for it to get out of earshot before I tapped the Amadeus icon. She showed herself immediately.
ずいぶんと久しぶりね。
そうだな。
私のことなんて忘れたんだと思ってたわ。
How could we forget? I hadn't forgotten. Could never forget.
いろいろあってな。
How many goodbyes had I said now? Interesting. You were thinking the same? Like, in the original Steins Gate, it was saying goodbye to individual people, right? And Kurisu was the last one, but we had to say goodbye to everybody. And yet this time, everyone is saying goodbye to Kurisu, and just Kurisu. So that was interesting. Goodbye, Kurisu-sim. She's the best Kurisu we have left. You know, like sometimes we have to look at it that way. This is so relaxing while I'm fighting demons. Well, I'm glad you're here. I hope to provide some kind of balance. Salmon Lenia. Is that pink? It's peach. Okay. Sorry. I said goodbye to her again and again, but I'd never gotten used to it.
それで、今日はどうしたの？
君に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
何？またタイムマシンは作れるかって話？冗談。続けて。
もしもだ。もしも自分の命と引き換えに友達の命を救えるとしたら、君ならどうする？
Ooh, interesting.
質問の意図がよくわからないんだが。
答えてほしい。
She must have been able to tell from my words and expression that I was serious, because she took on a serious expression as well.
その友達は大切な人なのよね。
ああ。
私にはまだやりたいことがたくさんあるわ。やらなければならないこともある。でも、それでも、もしもその友人や周りの人が幸せになるというのなら、甘んじて受け入れるかもしれない。
クリス。
ごめんなさい。実際にそんな目にあったことないし、想像でしかないから確実なことは言えないけど、それでも一人でも私のことを覚えていてくれる人がいるなら、忘れないでいてくれる人がいるなら。
And Okarian's that person through all the world lines. What a love story.
とにかく私のことは忘れること。今日あったこともこれまであったことも、それが私の望みだから。
忘れるものか。
Very young love story, right? I think it's, for me at least, it's easy to forget that these people are written to be anywhere between 17 to 21 years old. Very young. Never.
俺は決して忘れない。
This was a vow. A vow to get me through the long time to come.
岡部さん。
つまらないことを聞いて悪かった。
うん、それは構わないけど、何かあったの？
いや、なんでもないんだ。なんでも。それじゃあまたな。
待って。なんだか二度と会えなくなりそうな、そんな気がして。
If there's something resolute about the way that Okarin said his goodbye. クリス。
そんなことはないさ。
そうよね。私ったらなんで急にそんな風に思ったんだろう。
会えるさ。必ず。
That's right. This wasn't goodbye forever. I see her again, so I won't say goodbye. Now until I see you again.
また。
Kurisu, I've got no idea how long this will take, but I'm going to reach you. I promise. I went back to Mayuri and Rukako and gave them the phone.
お別れは済んだ？
ああ。それじゃあ頼んだぞ。
I watched them disappear into the crowded station and went back to the lab. The van was still playing its loud music as it drove down the street. Interesting. I wonder if the van is gonna come back later. That was a lot of writing to highlight a van. 5 hours had passed since the operation had begun. The only sound in the room was of Daru's fingers on the
どうだ、
keys.
ダル。
Vehicles in this game are ominous. They are indeed.
今のところ気づかれてはないと思われ。
まだかかりそうか。
早くても3時間くらいは。
Chekhov's gun? That van? What do you mean? I'm not understanding. I guess it wasn't going to be easy after all. Daru must have been exhausted, but he was still working. Mayuri and the others were sending me regular messages. Mayuri had paired off with Rukako and Ferris with Suzuha. Since they knew each other so well, they were doing a great job of working together and running around Tokyo. The term Chekhov's gun emerged from the ways Chekhov repeatedly characterized writing in letters to his contemporaries. The most famous version advises if in the first act you have hung a pistol on the wall, then in the following one it should be fired. Otherwise, don't put it there. Haha, hee hee, hoo hoo. Oh my god, Lenia, what is that game? Basically, in writing, if something is brought up and had made known, something must be important. Yeah. I didn't know that there was a word for it. And Lenia is now gray. The many colors of Lenia. How are you, Wild? Good to see you. All right, so our friends are zooming around Tokyo. Suza had told me that she'd seen shady-looking people several times, and Moika had sent me a message saying that they had taken the bait. For now, the operation was succeeding without anyone getting hurt. We were playing a dangerous game. But I didn't expect it to last forever. I wanted to get Kuris's memory data deleted as fast as possible, but in the end, my only choice was to rely on Daru.
すまないな、ダル。
それは言わない約束だろ。
I remember how he looked 25 years in the future. He looked fabulous is what he is how he looked. Chad Daru. Oh, Lenya. Even in that far distant future, he was still my friend.
オカリンさん、ちょっといい？
Until a little bit ago, Maho had been resting to recover from her exhaustion, but at some point she must have gotten up.
どうした？
You're fine, it's fine, everything is fine. He'll be better. She handed me a stack of papers. It was a printout of Stratfo's report. She must have been looking at it after she'd woken up. It's funny because my therapist said stop everything, saying everything is fine. Yes, you gotta stop saying that. I agree.
ストラト4によって被験者としてリストアップされた人たちの名前よ。
Oh. I mean, sometimes if it's fine to say that it's fine, right? But it's okay to not be okay. My therapist called you, didn't he? Maybe. A list of Strafo's experimental test subjects. Ooh, I wonder whose name we're gonna find on there. Shina Kagari. Oh my god, these are all young people. 16, 14, 16, 17, 10. My goodness. Where am I going? I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm gonna have guests in my house. So it really depends on, you know, if they're taking trips, I can stream. If they're not taking trips, I don't think I can. So I really don't know. And my guests are not planning people either. So I really, my schedule is at their mercy. I'll just put it that way. There were rows of names, sexes, and ages, and other information.
ここ。
She pointed her small finger at one of the names. It said, Shina Kagari.
椎名かがり。
彼女、ストラト4のモルモットにされていたんだわ。
Of course, I'd known it was a possibility. That's why they'd been looking for her. And she had Kurisa's memories too. But still, it was one thing to suspect it and another to see proof.
だけど最終実験までには至らなかったみたい。その直前に脱走したと書かれてあるわ。
That made me feel a lot better. That made me feel a lot better. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Oh my goodness. If Kagari still had Kurisa's memories, I would have seen a repeat of what happened in our last world line. This must be another effect of the world line change. Okay. I'm just thinking out loud, but so it's possible that Kurisa's memories exist in other people's brain, right? Interesting. But there was no doubt that she had been in Strafo's hands for years, and she'd been the subject of many experiments during that time.
少し心配だわ。
Maho must have been thinking the same thing I was. Kagari was alone with Yuki at Daru's hideout right now.
誰だよこの忙しい時に。
The ring that suddenly interrupted our conversation was coming from Daru's phone.
天主だ。どうしたんだろう。
I had a bad feeling. Me too.
はい、もしもし。天主、どうしたん？何かあったん？え？かがりたんが？
かがりがどうした？
いなくなったって。
Conveniently so? Sounds like an irresponsible babysitter would say, right? She's gone.
何？
Yeah, we can't take our eyes off Kagari for 1 minute. I grabbed the phone out of his hands and put it up to my ear.
俺だ。岡部だ。かがりがいなくなったって。本当か？
岡部さん、ごめんなさい。私がついていながら。
Yeah, sure you were.
一体どうして？誰かにさらわれたのか？
いえ、それが、かがりさんが自分で、私、必死で止めたんですけど、すごい力で。
Kagari? Strong?
自分で？
What was going on? Was Yuki really? No, that was impossible. If Yuki was working for Stratfo, she wouldn't be calling me. But then why had Kagari run off on her own?
スピーカーモードにしてもらえる？私も話が聞きたいわ。
We did take Kurisa's memories out of Kagari's on this one. Yes, that's correct. I hit the button to switch the call to speaker mode.
ゆきさん、かがりさんが飛び出していく前の状況を詳しく教えて。何か変わったことはなかった？
I'm shocked that Daru actually has her name saved as Yuki-san. But okay.
特には、それまでいろいろとおしゃべりしていて。
何か変な映像を見たりは？もしくは音とか？
いえ、待ってください。そういえば、外から変な音楽が聞こえてました。何かの凱旋車みたいでしたけど、やけに大きい音だなと思ったら。
Hypnosis? Brainwashing, hypnosis. Yeah, the freaking van. It was like that was a lot of writing for a random van playing music. An advertising van? Like a school bus calling its children home. Was it the one that I'd seen this afternoon?
それね。さっきのファイルに書いてあったわ。過去、ストラト4が行ってきた数々の実験。その実験の中に、ブレインウォッシングが含まれていた。
Brainwashing.
洗脳か。
I feel bad for the poor girl. Like, oh my god. Brainwashing, the use of violent methods of forcibly reconstruct one's thoughts or principles. Brainwashing is performed by applying intense external pressure via physical methods, such as confinement, threats, physical violence, use of drugs, etc., or psychological methods, such as instilling guilt, verbal abuse, etc. It is a method of mental reconstruction that is even stronger than mind control.
特定の音楽を耳にすれば、自発的に行動するよう洗脳されていたんじゃないかしら。そうとでも考えなければ、この状況で自分から進んで飛び出すとは思えない。
That song the van was playing. It was K620-5. It was the magic flute. So that's why when the attack first commenced on the lab, the attackers were whispering to each other to use like K620-5 so that they could potentially use that for Kagari. That's the Kurisu Maho song, right? The one Maho song to Kurisu. Maybe. Let's see. I wonder if we can find it in tips. Aspel. I forgot that we had to read that one. Gosh darn. K331. No. This is the one that Maho and Kurisu had, right? Yeah. Because the one that they sung was, I think, an earlier movement in Piano Sonata number 11. Whereas I believe the 620-5 is a song in the Magic Flute. Yeah, it was the one in Magic Flute. It was the one where the first attack on the lab during Maho's, like before we diverged into Maho's. I don't remember. I didn't take notes on that one. But I'm sure the game will remind us. The Magic Flute. There we go. All I had to do was click. The Magic Flute, sent to lead Kagari astray.
ファイルにも書かれているわ。
Actually, how
椎名鏡は
poetic.
適合性に非常に優れているため、目下行方を捜索中って。
How poetic, right? The Magic Flute. She was an ideal candidate for the experiment.
さあ
Mm-hmm. Just like the Pied Piper. They probably had vans like that all over Japan, not just Akihabara. And she'd fallen right into their trap.
どうするオカリン。
It was obviously Stratfo that had gone after Kagari, which meant that all we could do was... And then there was another call. Whose phone is this? This time it was to my phone. This is our phone. This is our ringtone? Okay. Thank you for answering my question. I had Ferris prepare several cell phones for my use in this operation. One to use to call everyone, one to give to Kagari, and... The call was coming from the phone I'd given to Kagari. It was probably not from her. It probably wasn't from her, though. Who could it be?
岡部倫太郎だな。
I love this. I love it. Okay. The digitally altered voice made the caller seem even more eerie.
ああ、そうだ。お前は。
椎名係は我々の手中にある。交換条件は言わなくてもわかるな。
Eh? Chris's laptop and hard drive.
考える時間をくれ。
考える？何を考える必要がある？交換は明日だ。場所と方法は追って連絡する。
They hung up.
クリスの PC とハードディスクと交換だそうだ。
で、どうするん？
係が洗脳にあっていたなんて。
Suzuha was gritting her teeth in frustration as she listened to us. I'd had her come back immediately after the call. And I brought Kiryu Moika to the lab as well.
率直に教えてもらいたい。仮に相手の要求に従ったとして、係を返してもらえると思うか？
Yes, we can. Maho just created the time leap machine.
思わない。
I agree, Moika. Moika gave her honest opinion.
私もそう思う。相手は洗脳なんて汚い手を使う人間だ。必要なくなれば容赦なく消すだろう。
最悪、あなたもやられる。
The only reason they would have called me specifically is that they knew I had information they wanted to keep hidden. After what I'd gone through already, I could safely assume they'd show no mercy. And they were after what Kurisa had left behind. Her memories and her belongings. I didn't want them causing any more wars. Which meant there was only one thing I could do.
こっちから乗り込んで、係を取り戻すしかないな。
It was dangerous, but it was the only way. My Yuri and the others were still out there fighting, which meant they should still think I was running around the city.
乗り込むって、そんな相手がどこにいるのかもわからないのに。
どこにいるかなら知ってるさ。
本当か？おじさん、いつの間に？
鈴葉、手伝ってくれるか？
オーキードーキー。
Suzuha is so happy that she can get some fighting in. She's so excited. I turned toward Moika, who shook her head.
そこまでは付き合えない。
I bet.
ダメよ、二人でなんて危険すぎる。
いや、大勢で動くよりも危険は少ないかもしれない。
And I knew that fate wasn't going to let me die for a little while longer.
まゆりさんたちには言わないの？
言えば心配かけるだろうからな。ダル、引き続きロックの解除を頼む。それからスマホは通話状態にしておいてくれ。
オキドキ。
おじさん、これを。
Suza handed me a semi-automatic pistol. Okay. And of course, Moika knew what kind it was on site. Glock 17, a semi-automatic pistol developed by Glock, an Austrian arms manufacturer. The Glock 17 is the civilian version of the official sidearm of the Austrian army, the PI-80. It has a 9mm caliber, a 17+1 round capacity, and a fully plastic frame. The Glock 17's design was revolutionary, and it had a huge impact on future firearm technology.
もしもの時は自分の身は自分で守るんだ。
Do we even know how to take the safety off? I hesitated, but decided to take it. It was the first time in my life I'd ever held a gun, and it was a lot heavier than I expected it to be. The lights were still on at the building in Kanda. Even at this hour, the gate was open. That's how colleges were. As expected, we made it inside with no trouble.
ここに係が？
Oh dear.
ああ、そのはずだ。
If Dado's information from 2036 was correct, Stratfos base was here at my university, Tokyo Denki. 3 kilograms? For a gun? A pistol at that. That's very heavy. Several buildings occupied the school's Kanda campus. Building 1, Building 5 through 7, and Building 11 through 15. Buildings 5, 6, 10, and 15 were scattered throughout the surrounding neighborhood, but the remainder were in their own little isolated area. I wouldn't contest Google information with Steins Gate tips information, but interesting that it was built of steel because the tips said that it was the frame, at least, was plastic. But interesting. That's heavy. The only 2 of those with basements were 11 and 15. And my guess was that Stratfos base was here in Building 11. It was not only the building with the newest equipment, but it was a big building with 17 floors and a lot of foot traffic going in and out. I didn't know how many people Stratfos had working for them, but at least some of them had to have been out looking for me, which meant this place would be less well guarded than usual. And I had Suzu help with me too. This was doable.
こっちだ。
F? Did stream die? No. I don't think so. Can anyone else confirm? Alright. Yep. I think it's just Hordian's internet. I led Suzuha straight down the stairs. There were 3 elevators in the building, but Suzuha had decided that taking them would be dangerous. They could potentially be trapped. The problem was what lay down below. There were over 20 rooms of varying sizes in a 2-story basement. Which one of them was their base?
おじさん、こっち。
わかるのか？
思い出した。ここなら昔潜入したことがある。
Huh? Oh, in the distant future.
私が知ってる建物はもう崩れかけで、外観も全然変わってたからわからなかったけど、間違いない。
Dang. It's nice to have her with us. Suzuha led me down the corridors without hesitation, with her gun in her hand and her hips dropped low to the ground to avoid making noise as she ran. She looked just like a cat. She stopped in front of one of the rooms and nodded to me. It seemed no different than any of the others, but there was no nameplate on it. This was supposed to be a larger generator room, as I recalled.
私はかがりを救出する。おじさん、自分の身は自分で守ること。
ああ。
I took the Glock out of my belt. It was heavy in my hands. Suzuha had taught me how to use it, but I've never fired before and wasn't sure if I'd be able to. It would still serve as a bluff.
行くよ。3、2、1。
This would be the perfect place for a cliffhanger, wouldn't it? But we're only an hour in. I couldn't do this to you guys. After she finished her countdown, Suzuha shot off the doorknob, kicked open the door, and ran into the room. She did it all in one swift movement. I ran in after her and realized immediately that something was wrong. Another great cliffhanger. The first thing I noticed was the stench. It was an iron smell strong enough to make you puke. Blood. The floor of the room was covered with blood. I play with your heart, Juniper underline mint. Oh gosh, not the full name treatment. There were bodies too. 4 or 5 of them. Of course, Suzuha hadn't done it. It was already like this when we got here.
どういうことだ?
Suzuha was slowly working her way forward. I followed her. Some of the bodies were Japanese. Some were American. The room continued on. A large man was lying face down next to a half-open door, and next to him was.
思ったよりも早かったわね、リンタロウ。
Holy crap! It's her again. It is Judy Reyes yet one more time. It is Psycho Lady.
バカな。
The voice saying my name was voluptuous and feminine, and its accent was foreign.
レイエス教授。
And super clean, not a speck of blood on her. Incredible.
元気そうで何よりだわ。
どうして？
ちょっと探し物を返してもらおうかと思って。
Twitch really just stopped working on my phone. Oh no, Hordian. Are you on PC now? Is it working? I came to get something I was looking for. She's so casual about everything. It's just weird. No. Dr. Reyes spun around quickly and smoothly like a dancer. Kagari was seated behind her.
Kagari! どうした？かがり、聞こえないのか？
There was some kind of strange mechanical device over her head. No matter how much I called out her name, she didn't move an inch.
あら、せっかく気持ちよく眠ってるんだから、起こしてあげたらかわいそうよ。
So I just got a Steam achievement, and it's 50% CG complete. So we're only halfway through the game. Oh my lord. Her smile was sharp and cold. It completely lacked the warmth I'd seen when we first met.
気をつけろ、そいつ軍人だ。
She's military? I mean, I'm not surprised, but do you recognize her on sight or something like that, Suzuha? Suzuha already had her gun drawn to Ryas, but Ryas didn't seem concerned in the slightest. Tenozi had said that, come to think of it, that the group looking for Kagari was with a Western military. And he'd wondered if a normal spy would have taken their own life.
そっちのあなた、何者？
Interesting. Okay. Little Japanese speech pattern. She used the word nanimono, which is very different from dare, for instance, like for who. Nanimono is kind of like very not derogatory. I guess derogatory might be the right word, but it's very like, because the word in Japanese for thing, like item, thing, is mono, and it's like, what thing are you, kind of is her wording here.
かがりを返せ。
It is very dehumanizing.
いい顔ね。日本にもそういう顔をできる人間がいるなんて知らなかった。とりあえず銃をこちらに。でないと椎名かがりは死ぬわよ。
Oh, she does not care.
かがりを殺した瞬間に、私がお前を殺す。
あらそう。私は組織で動いている。私一人を殺したところで状況は変わらないわよ。
鈴葉。
Don't speak, shoot first. Suzuha laid the gun at her feet,
い
frustrated.
い子ね。ついでにそこで両手を頭の後ろに置いて立ってなさい。それで凛太郎、交換条件は提示したはずだけど、ちゃんと持ってきてくれたの？
So it was her. Okay, so confirmed. Judy Rise is working for Strafo. Do I have that written down somewhere? I don't. Let's write it down.
「あらあら、いけない子ね。持ってきていないなら、こちらとしては椎名かがりは渡せないわ。
Were you in a room with a gun with 3 bullets? Evil Nai, Evil Moika, and her youth shoot her 3 times. Not sure if that's the choice that I would go with. Nah, I definitely deserve a bullet. I don't know where She definitely does too, but I don't know if I would shoot Moika. She had said Kagari was asleep, but when I looked closer, I saw that her eyelids weren't fully closed. From what little I could see of her eyes, they were empty and devoid of light.
カガリに何をした？
残念だけどまだ何もしていないわ。彼らが使っていた子守歌をちょっと聞かせてあげただけ。
The lullaby, ew.
でも
Terrible wording.
あなたが交換条件に応じる気がないみたいだからこれから始めてしまおうかしら。
She rubbed Kagari's cheek with the barrel of her gun. A look of ecstasy on her face. She's actually crazy.
クリスの PC とハードディスクは特別な場所に隠してある。カガリを渡さないならこっちも教えるつもりはない。先にカガリを解放しろ。
交渉は無駄よ、リンタロ。そっちが渡す気がないならこっちはこっちのやり方をさせてもらうわ。
It wasn't a threat or a bluff. Reyes was acting like this was an everyday conversation, with all the blood and stench around us. That somehow made it even creepier.
これはあなたがやったのか？
ええ。彼らも余計な真似をしなければもう少し長生きできたのに。残念ね。
Just a walk to the park for her.
どうしてこんな真似を？
簡単なことよ。私の正体に気づいたから。
正体？
そこの彼女が言ってたでしょ。
軍か。
同時に研究者でもある。ダーパって言ってもどうせわからないでしょうけど。
Wait, so she's not with Straffo. Oh. Where's my derp? Yes. There it is. Okay. So she is in a Straffo base, but she killed all the Straffo people. Derpa. Alright, let us see what you have in store for us. DERPA, short for the American Defense Ultimate Research Projects Agency. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, I see. A research and development agency that reports directly to the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense. It was created in order to adapt the latest scientific technology for military purposes. It is staffed by around 300 people, many of whom are non-military civilians. And since it reports directly to the Secretary of Defense, it is kept free of direct military interference. It is said that researchers in DERPA are given wide latitude to pursue projects they find interesting. During the days of its predecessor, ERPA, the researchers were responsible for the development of the Global Positioning System, GPS, as well as ERPANET, which would later become the Internet.
アメリカ国防高度研究計画局。そんなレイエス教授が。
Maho is like having an existential crisis in our pocket. I could hear Maho's voice through my Bluetooth microphone. I left my phone connected to Daru's so that we could stay in touch if we needed to.
もう少しだけ時間を稼いでくれ。
Buy time now? It would be impossible. But I'd asked Daru for the impossible many times before. Now it was my turn. I couldn't let her hurt Kagari. Suzuha had lost her weapon. It would be hard to do this by force. I just needed to keep her occupied.
その軍の人間がどうして？
もともと私の所属するチームはブレインウォッシングの研究をしていたのよ。
洗脳。それじゃあかがりは？
言っておくけど彼女をこうしたのは私じゃない、彼らよ。
Yeah, but that doesn't. Ugh. Them. She must have meant the people lying on the
ど
floor.
うだか。そもそもなぜ軍の人間が洗脳の研究なんてする必要がある？
There was no need to even ask. But I needed to buy time for Daru to finish his hacking.
決まってるでしょ。思い通りに動く戦士を作るためよ。文句を言うこともなく、死を恐れることもない。国のために身を捧げる最強の戦士を作るため。別に珍しいことじゃないわ。そんなの100年以上も前から世界中で行われているもの。でもね、洗脳なんて面倒なことをしなくても最強の戦士を作り上げられると私たちは気づいたの。それが AI 戦士よ。
AI 戦士。なるほどな。人工知能を兵士の頭の中に植え付けるというわけか。
Am I muted? I am muted. Hello. Hi. What was the last thing that I said? I don't remember. How long have I been muted? So I had a super sinister thought when you said we have technology to make robots. Why need AI technology to make human soldiers? Because it's cheaper. I feel horrible for saying that, but probably because it's cheaper. Did you know that Google bought Boston Dynamics? Yeah. I did. Good times. I see, so you implement an artificial intelligence into the soldier's brain.
そうすれば一様に高度な頭脳と思考を持つ戦士を大量に生み出すことができる。
へえ。
それに特殊技能についての記憶を兵士全員にインストールすれば全員がどんなミッションもこなせる兵士にだってなれる。
But that requires a lot more upfront cost, right? The robot soldier, you're talking about like later on, but right now it is probably cheaper if they figure out how to brainwash. And it takes, what is it? I don't know, but I think that's my thought. In a very dark world line, where they would rather mutilate human beings than create robots because it's cheaper. If you can install all the memories needed for special skills too, you'll have the whole army of specialists ready for any mission imaginable. I mean, you could also argue, right? Like this is a step in the process to create the AI that they would ultimately put into robot soldiers too. So.
その通り。リンタロ、理解が早いわね。しかもゆくゆくは教意識化することでより綿密で高度な連携を図れるようにもなる。
Hive mind soldiers. Ew.
どう？すごいでしょ？
そんなの許されるわけがない。
Susa, you know this isn't gonna get anywhere with this lady. She's clearly... She clearly has zero morals in that regard.
陳腐なセリフね。
I was worried that Suzuha might jump at her in fury, but she stayed completely calm. Rise was right next to the Kagari. No matter how fast Suzuha was, without a gun, Kagari was still in danger. If I knew Suzuha, she was watching the situation carefully and waiting for an opening.
いい？私たちは世界の治安を守っているの。我が軍があるからこそ世界の平和は保たれているのよ。
I don't know about that.
そのための戦士になれるのなら、彼らだって本望のはず。
And who are you to decide? That was selfish reasoning. There was no way I or anyone else could accept it. But... Oh yeah, Ho In Kyoma. Here he is. There's a game I loved called Star Sector. It is a sci-fi space game. In it, we developed faster-than-light technology and true AI technology, and the AI took over a large portion of colonized space, and there was a war against it. So yeah, AI hive mind is terrifying. Yes, it is. I don't know. I shouldn't say too much about it, but I actually find ChatGPT quite terrifying already.
レイエス教授、いや、レイエス。貴様、なかなか面白いじゃないか。
But let's embrace Hoen Kyoma, shall we? I saw Suzuha's gaze dart over me for just a moment. Her eyes seemed to criticize me, but she didn't say anything.
リンタロ？
リンタロウではない。
My job right now was to keep her busy until Daru broke the lock on the files, which meant that now was the time to act. And act we will. To act a part of the biggest fool I could. That was my job.
我が名はホーイン・キョーマ。世界の支配構造を覆し、混沌に陥れる男。
I can't believe that this is Hoen Kyoma's track. I just, oh my god.
一体何の冗談？
You're the goddess of jazz. That's a good one. Do you even like jazz, Linnea?
この狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、ホーイン・キョーマが認めてやろう。貴様、なかなかにマッドだ。
ほう。何？
ホーイン・キョーマだ。 岡部倫太郎と世を欺くための仮の姿、その正体こそこの俺。不死鳥のごとく蘇るマッドサイエンティストだ。
Jazz is cool, you're not a connoisseur, but it's fun. It is fun.
何それ、あなたユニークね。
You are unique. My gosh, we can hear it. For a moment, her mouth had hung open in shock, but she quickly regained her cocky smile. But I couldn't back down now.
レイエス、これまで貴様がやってきたことはすでに把握した。貴様は AI 戦士の研究のためにビクトル・コンドリア大学に教授として潜り込んだ。そしてその過程でアマデウスプロジェクトにたどり着いた。
Moon Prism Power Makeup. Yes.
そうだな。
その通りよ。アマデウスはなかなかに面白いプロジェクトだったわ。でもそれよりも面白かったのは
She stepped on the body next to her. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me read that. Jeez. She stepped on the body next to her as if it were an object, not a human being.
アマデウスプロジェクトの陰に見え隠れする彼らの存在よ。案の定探りを入れてみたらとんでもないものが見えてきた。何が出てきたかはあなたも知ってるでしょ。
タイムマシンだな。
Rez flashed me a dazzling smile and nodded.
なるほどな。人類の夢であり、決して作り出すことのできないと言われたタイムマシン。その理論が記された論文の存在に気づいたか。それを手に入れれば世界の覇権をも手に入れることができると。だがくだらんな。貴様らの考えることは皆同じだ。
くだらないですって。
ああ、実にくだらん。世界の覇権、国家のため、組織のため、機関のため、どれも歪小な目的だ。そんなもののために世紀の大発明を利用するなど、科学者として下の下。
私は科学者である前に軍人よ。国に命を捧げたものなの。我が国が世界の覇権を手に入れればそれだけで抑止力になる。
I hate that mentality. It's multiple tools running alongside to do a task. I think I need to read more about ChatGPT to fully understand what it's doing.
それは世界のためでもあり、人類のためでもあるのよ。
Okay, you sound like you're in a cult. Continue. Her voice was rising in
だ
excitement.
から決して他の国に先を越されるわけにはいかない。革命的な理論を私たちが手に入れることで世界の均衡は守られる、世界の平和は保たれるのよ。
Not at all, right? No. Not a cult. And I love the way that she framed it. Like, we can keep the world's power balance the way it is. There's no balance.
それを他の国に、ましてや一民間企業に手に入れられるなど許すものですか。
それがこれだけの人間を手にかけた理由か。
Where's that self-righteousness came from? Like, I don't understand.
あえてもう一度言おう。くだらないな。
あらそう。彼らには悪いことをしたと思ってるわ。
You do? Because I can't tell at all. She didn't really sound like she meant it. No.
本当なら彼らを泳がせるだけ泳がせておいて、全てを手に入れてからデータを頂戴するつもりだったの。
What?
ならなぜ殺した？
スパイとして潜り込ませていた部下の一人がヘマをしでかしちゃったのよ。だからそれについてはこちらの落ち度だと思ってるわ。
Oh, she's talking about the people in the lab. Okay.
でもね、彼らだって悪いのよ。うちには民間の研究者も在籍しているの。そちらに席を用意するって提案したのに、欲を出して要求を突きつけてきたりなんかするから。才能のある人間を失うのは不本意だわ。
The corners of her mouth rose a little as she spoke. She has not a shred or an ounce of regret. It didn't seem like she really felt that way at all.
さて、ここで一つ提案。岡部倫太郎、あなた、うちに来ない？
Why do you want us? Why do you want us to work? I don't get it. I don't understand this lady.
何？
あら、意外って顔ね。一体何のためにわざわざこんな話をしたと思うの？メイドの土産になんて、日本のサムライシネマの中だけの話でしょ。
An anime, thank you very much.
心配しなくていいわ。私たちは国籍なんて問わないし、お望みならばグリーンカードだって用意してあげられる。
つまり俺のこの法王院清間の才能を認めたというわけか。
もちろん、才能のない人間には声をかけたりなんてしないわ。あなたには才能がある。それにマキセ・クリスの友人でもある。
That is why. Okabe, don't fall for it. That's why. Because you may have tangential memories that could help complete the Makise Kurisu puzzle, or you can help unlock something. The real reason she was interested in me was probably the latter. It was far too
マキセ・クリ
obvious.
スのタイムマシン理論について俺が彼女から何か聞いているかもしれない。そう期待しているわけだ。だからこの俺が欲しいと。
役に立つ人間は引き抜く。正当な対価も払う。それが私たちの生きる世界のルールだもの。
There's that word again, Lenia. Useful.
ということは
I hate it.
役に立たなくなったら俺もそこに転がっている彼らのようになるわけだな。
それはあなたの働きと心がけ次第じゃないかしら。
Reyes laughed and went around behind Kagari. She seemed to be moving casually, but since Suzuha didn't pounce, she probably hadn't left any openings.
誰？まだなのか？
I was hitting my limit for buying time.
まあ、ゆっくり考えて。ん？
この俺の才能に目をつけるとは なかなかのハイエスト愛の持ち主だ。
ハイエストアイ。
目が高いという意味だ。メリケン人、そんなこともわからないとはな。だがまあいい。科学者としてゲのゲだと言ったさっきの言葉を取り消してやろう。何せこの俺の才能を見抜いたのだからな。
あら、それならこちらの提案に乗ってくれるのね。
断る。なぜならこの俺は王院京馬だからだ。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、孤高の存在でなければならない。
He's just sprouting nonsense at this point. I love it.
いついかなる時も何者にも属してはならない。それが宿命。
At first, Rise seemed surprised, but then she exhaled a long sigh.
まあ、それについては結論を急ぐ必要はないわ。彼女の処置が終わるまでゆっくり考えてもらって構わない。
Oh no.
かがりをどうするつもりだ？
Suza has still had her hands behind her head. Wow. But if looks could kill, Rias would be dead already.
分かりきったことでしょ。彼女の頭の中にマキセ・クリスの記憶を上書きするの。
それは。
Then in the other world line, maybe Durpa had done that and not Stratfo? And that wasn't all. Was the woman in the motorcycle suit who'd attacked the lab?
そんな顔しなくても大丈夫よ。このために今日まで動物や何人もの人間を使って実験を繰り返してきたんだから。
She's done many of this before. Had they all been Kurisa's memories? Okay. Rez rubbed Kagari's cheeks lovingly.
そもそもこれまでのシステムには致命的な不具合があったの。でも今回はそれも解消した。その上彼女の高い適応力もある。きっと成功する。
So I do think they were trying to do Kurisa's memories then. It sounded like. But that's also interesting because it's hard to fathom that they were doing this whole experiment only ever since Makisa Kurisa's death. Right? You would think that experiment has gone on for longer than that. Interesting. Every single word she spoke, and she spoke so slowly, it felt like it was drawing me in.
クリスの記憶が、頭脳が、この子の中で再現されるのよ。
Don't do it. Okabe, don't fall for it.
そうなれば、記憶のブラックボックスなんて存在しなくなる。私たちの言うがまま。彼女はきっとタイムマシンについても全部教えてくれる。もうクリスの PC もハードディスクもいらない。彼女さえいてくれればそれでいいの。
Raz brought her crimson lips next to Kagari.
ねえ、かがり。あなただってクリスになりたいでしょ？
No.
ダメだ、かがり。そいつの言葉を聞くな。
But Kagari didn't move at all.
天才と呼ばれたあの頭脳があなたのものになるのよ。世界に革新を起こす存在になれるの。素敵だと思わない？
I mean, isn't it more like your bodies will be hers?
お返事は
Kagari's lips moved a little. No.
いい子ね。
かがり。
リン太郎、これはあなたの選択でもあるのよ。素直にこちらの交換条件に応じていれば結果は変わったかもしれないのに。それにあなただって本当はクリスに会いたいんじゃないかしら。人間を構成するのは記憶よ。記憶がその人間を作り出しているの。クリスの記憶を持ったかがりはクリスそのものになるわ。そうなればあなただって嬉しいでしょ。
No, it's gonna be bastardized.
それにクリスだって。
No, Kurisu would. Oh my god, no. This is the worst
ふ
timeline.
ざけるな。
There we go. I was surprised at how loud my voice
クリ
was.
スが喜ぶだと。そんなわけがあるか。
Hell yeah, you tell her.
仮にかがりの記憶がクリスのものにとって変わったとしても、それはクリスじゃない。自分の記憶がそんな目的のために使われたってあいつは絶対に喜んだりしない。あいつをマキセ・クリスをバカにするな。
そう、残念だわ。
That's so good from this voice actor. Oh my gosh.
いずれにせよ結果は同じ。そこで大切な人の記憶がこの子の中に受け継がれるのをおとなしく見守っていなさい。
I will never stop praising the VA. until I run out of games that has voice acting. Because actually a lot of visual novels don't have voiceovers, surprisingly. Rez started to type commands into the computer next to her. Suzuha was still calm. She wasn't attacking Rias because she was waiting for Daru's word.
誰？まだなのか？
Damn it.
おじさん、
Suzuha whispered to me.
場合によってはかがりを見捨てる。私が動いたら伏せて。
That kind of breaks my heart for Suzuha too. Like, she probably grew up having to make these decisions on the fly often. Who to give up, whose lives you have to let go to accomplish whatever it is that you need to accomplish. Knowing Suzuha, she wouldn't hesitate.
はーい、準備 OK。
What do I do? Should I give up on her? I couldn't do that, could I? But either way, Kagari was doomed.
それじゃあさよならかがり。
Rai's thin fingers stretched out. And Suzuha moved. She closed the gap between her and Rias in an instant. A gunshot rang out. Suzuha's body shot back and fell to the floor.
そう来ると思ったわ。残念だったわね。
Rice, I expected that. Then there was nothing I could do. Before I could stop her, Rias hit the keyboard. What?
どういうこと？どうして反応しないの？まさかこいつ。God damn it! Shit!
Rice pounded the keyboard again and again, swearing. Was there a problem with the system?
オカリンさん。
There was a small light in Kagari's empty eyes. With Rias distracted, this was my chance.
オカリンさん。
Kagari ripped the device off her head, stood up, and managed to run a few steps forward before she fell over. Is Suzuha dead? I ran over and grabbed her. Rice quickly brought her gun to bear. Another gunshot. I thought I'd been shot, but I hadn't. The gun, knocked out of Rice's hand, was spinning on the floor.
それ以上動くな。
She fainted! Oh, Suzu. Suzuha slowly stood up. She was holding the gun that she had just placed on the ground.
無事だったか？
なんとかね。
Her shoulders were bloody, but it wasn't a fatal wound. She was lucky to survive a gunshot wound at that range.
形勢逆転だな。
参ったわね。まさかあなたみたいな子にしてやられるなんて。
Oh, how the turns have tabled. Rice shrugged her shoulders in surrender.
でもね、ここで終わるわけにはいかないのよ。
動くなと言っている。
Rice ignored her and picked up the strange headset that Kagari had been wearing. Okay, let's be honest. She is the mad scientist if she's going to do what I think she's going to do. Suzuha gripped her gun more tightly.
ちなみに私、小型の爆弾をポケットの中に持ってるの。奥歯をちょっとだけ噛みしめれば、それで起爆するのよ。
I'll be honest, I never thought that these contraptions are good ideas. What if you fell? And just or just chewed on something really hard. So many ways to accidentally die. Terrible idea.
この至近距離なら、あなたたち3人も巻き込まれちゃうでしょうね。
自爆する気か。
敵に情報が渡るぐらいなら死を選べと教育されているの。悲しいことにね。
A thought coming from a clumsy person, perhaps? Yes, indeed. I would never have anything in the back of my teeth to activate anything. I would just never allow that to happen. Terrible ideas.
はったりだ。
そう思うなら撃てばいい。
Suzuha moved to pull the trigger.
待て、鈴葉。今は誰を信じろ。
Rice glanced at Suzuha and then slowly put the headset down over her own head.
お前、
何をするつもりだ。
あなたも彼女じゃなければいいんでしょ。
まさか。
言ったでしょ、ここで終われないって。
Jesus Christ. There was madness in her eyes.
そうよ、簡単な話だったんだわ。わざわざ他人を使わなくても最初からこうすればよかったのよ。
No, she's trying to download Kurisa into herself, I think.
これで私はマキセ・クリスの記憶を手に入れ
Yeah,
られ
yeah,
るの。
yeah. It doesn't make sense to me why she's trying to do it, but I mean it does, but at the same time it doesn't. She's gonna go mad.
タイム麻酔の理論を得ることもできるの。世界に確信をもたらす存在になれるのよ。
やめろ。そんなこと。
Don't use Kurisa's memories for that.
来た来た来た。誰。
Daru, best boy.
今から
Let's
私は
go.
時間をも支配できる存在になる。
誰。早くファイルを。ちょい待ち、今探してる。
Rice's fingers went for the keyboard. Just delete everything. What's the point?
やめろ。
大丈夫、心配しなくてもあなたの大切な女の記憶は私がちゃんと役立ててあげる。
She knows. She could tell.
あった。見つけた。オカリン。消せ。誰。頼む。クリスを。あいつを解放してやってくれ。ドキドキ。
Coming to me, Chris.
Rice's fingers touched the keyboard. Silence. Nothing happened. There was no light or loud noise, like the phone wave named subject to change. Of course there wasn't. It was all going on inside her head.
どうなったんだ。
You shoot her now. Rias. So Daru didn't delete it in time. She was in the exact same position as when she touched the keyboard, completely unmoving. Did the memories download? I steeled myself to take a closer look. And Rias collapsed to her knees. The light hit her face and I could finally see her expression. There was nothing there. No light, no darkness, nothing. Just hollow emptiness in her eyes. But that expression of joy she'd had when she touched the keyboard was frozen onto her cheeks.
オカリンさん、
That is
その人は
creepy.
早かったんだ。ダルの方が一瞬だけ。
You were thinking here if we deleted... Yeah, right. Daru was faster, but just by an instant. So she copied a blank into her. You're right. The folder had been empty just before she downloaded the memories into her own mind. She'd filled her head with emptiness. Now nothing was left. Not the memories she had before. Not her own history. Not her own desires. There was just an empty shell. There was just an empty shell, kneeling on the ground, as if praying to God.
オカリン。
Oh, that's such a good line. Okay.
ダル、よくやった。 終わったよ。何もかも。
I could hear Daru and Maho cheering from the earphone.
行こう、おじさん。いつまでもここにいるのは良くない。
Have I played this Coliseum? Have I ever, Hordian? Oh my gosh, that is my favorite game. Period. I love that game. And I'll say that I loved the game while played it. We did meet at the other siren. Yes, we did. Siren of the Silver Stream. Yes. Yeah, we shouldn't stay here. Don't forget there's like bodies, piles of bodies on the in the other room, and now we have an empty shell. Flesh bag over
そうだ
here.
な。係、歩けるか？
Let's go. The only things left were dead bodies and a living corpse. A living corpse. That's a good way of putting it. Amadis, the girl on the other side of the machine, was gone. She was gone from this world, along with the memories of the person I loved. I whispered softly to a girl who was no longer here. There.
また会おうな。クリス。
I love it.
それじゃあまゆし、私たちまた来るね。またね。ルカ君も今度一緒にコスプレしようね。
考えておきます。オカリンさんや皆さんもお邪魔しました。
ああ、またいつでも来るといい。どうした？
This is the first win we got in this game, it is.
オカリンさん、なんだか雰囲気変わりましたね。
Somehow the Maho ending didn't feel like winning at all, right? So and to a certain extent, would you really call this winning? I don't know. Interesting. I mean, it's the first step, right, towards the grand plan.
そうか？
なんだか前よりずっととっつきやすくなった感じ。
もう吹雪ちゃん、本人に向かって失礼だよ。
Well, you know.
楓ちゃんだってさっき言ってたじゃん。
ちょっと。
やれやれだな。
あ、それじゃあ私もそろそろおいとましますね。
Oh my gosh. Yuki is gonna bug me forever. Okay.
あ、今日もバイト？
はい、終わったら連絡します。週末の予定決めましょう。
They are dating.
オッケー。じゃ、連絡待ってるよ。
なになんだにゃ？ダルニャン、ユキニャンとかなりいい感じだにゃ。
そうあ、でもフェリスタンへの愛ももちろん変わらないのだぜ。
もう父さんたらまた。
Can you imagine that, like, traveling back to before you were born, and your biggest concern is to making sure that your dad and your mom hook up so that you can be born. Just please. It hasn't been several days since then. All the chaos with Amadeus and Kurisa's memories had calmed down, and normal life had resumed. There have been no official announcements about what had happened in the basement of Tokyo Denki University. The next day, the basement had been sealed off because of what was described as a lab accident. What? Okay, so there were definitely other forces at play. The military, or maybe Stratfo, had covered it up, and since then, we hadn't seen anything strange going on around us. There could have been no traces that we were ever there. They probably weren't going to come after us.
それにしても、あれは何だったんだろう。
あれって？
あの女が係にマキセ・クリスの記憶をダウンロードしたとき、うまくいかなかったんだよ。
ただシステムがうまく作動しなかっただけじゃないん？
ダルニャンの言う通りだにゃ。考えすぎることないにゃ。
そうなのかな。なんか気になるんだよね。
おほ？
そういえばあの時。
Kagari seemed to have been thinking of something. She opened her mouth to speak.
でも。
ちょっと係、言いかけて途中でやめないでよ。気になるだろ。
あの時、声が聞こえたような気がするの。
I thought I heard a voice back then.
声？頭の奥で。誰だかわからないけど、ダメって。
マキセ・クリス。
私、あの時のことをほとんど覚えてないから、ただの夢か何かだったのかも。
アマデウス。もしかしたら、アマデウスじゃないかしら。クリスが最後の最後で、自分の記憶を係さんに上書きされるのを拒んだんじゃないかって。
真帆にしてはロジカルじゃない意見だな。
But you can't deny there's a certain beauty in that interpretation. But Rukako and Mayuri stared at each other when they heard Maho's words.
僕たちが最後にアマデウスさんを起動した時なんですけど、途中で通信が切られたんです。
Okabe making more sense than Maho. Yeah, it is weird, isn't he?
オカリンのボットさんが話してるのに、なんだかすごく慌てたみたいに切れたんだ。
Could that have been when it happened?
でも、そんなことありえるの？わからない。けど、アマデウスにも人間と同じ自己防衛本能はあるはずよ。だから、自分の記憶をよからぬことに利用されようとしているのに気づいて、ということも考えられなくはないわ。
In a different world line, Kurisa's memories had once existed inside Kagari. Maybe Kurisa had saved Kagari from experiencing the same fate here. There may have been another reason, but at least that was what I wanted to think.
なあオカリン、僕も一個わからんことがあるんだけど。
There's so much I don't understand, Daru.
なんだ？
オカリンの話だと、これまでアマデウスが原因で何度か世界線の変動があったんだろ？でも僕たちがあの時のことを覚えてるってことは、今回は変動してないってことだよな。それはなんでなんだろう。
ああ、 そのことか。
I thought about that right after what had
おそら
happened.
くだが、これまでの世界線の変動はアマデウスに対してアクションを起こしたことで、クリスの記憶が何者かの手に渡ったことが原因だと思われる。
Whoever had gotten the memories had used them to rewrite the
だが今
past.
回はその原因であるアマデウスとクリスの記憶そのものを消去した。原因が取り除かれれば、それによる世界線の変動は起きない。そういうことだろう。
The cause of the battle between Stratfo and Durpa was gone, and we'd gotten rid of the data that Kurisa had left behind. The future created by Kurisa's memories was gone. But Suzuha and Kagari were still here. If they were still here, then the future hadn't changed that much. Of course I knew that. Unless I could reach Steins Gate, the war line conversions wouldn't change. But that didn't mean that this was for nothing. There was that small flash of insight I'd felt in 2036. This world was another step toward it.
で、これからどうするん？
そうだな。いろいろやるべきことはあるが、その前に。
I took something out of the pocket of my lab coat.
さて、皆に俺からプレゼントだ。
Is it a lab pin? Yes, it
これは。
is. Oh.
ラボメンバージ。俺たち全員がこのラボのメンバーである証だ。
OSHMKUFAHHSA. The badge had everyone's initials on it. Of course, Kurisu and Moika's were there too. I'd added Hiyazo Maho, Shina Kagari, and Amane Yuki too. Accepting the past for what it was and connecting it to the future. Okay, so that makes me think I really should not be sussing Yuki. That was my job right now.
ラボメ。
Oh, Kagari. Kagari held the badge to her chest happily.
私の宝物一つ増えちゃった。
The path that lay before me might be even harder than the one I've traveled so far, but I knew the light was still there at the end of it.
私クリスとオカリンさんが仲良くなれた理由なんとなくわかる気がするわ。
They tread forth into unknown futures, right?
私も父さんたちがどうしてあんなにもオカリンおじさんを頼りにしていたのかやっとわかった。
私もママがオカリンさんをずっと好きなのわかるな。
Mayuri, it's time for you to say something.
かがりちゃん違うよ。マユシーはオカリンの人質でだからそういうのとは。
No.
なんこれオカリンだけモテまくり許せん。リアチェ爆発しろ。
父さんには母さんがいるでしょ。
Many different futures and many different paths. Where they all converge, I know I'll find you, so...
ああ、俺だ。何？いつになったら助けに来るのか、だと。
Are we now talking to Kurisu in our imaginary phone calls?
慌てるな。今はまだその時ではない。俺を誰だと思っている？いいか。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、不王隠居魔に二言はない。だから、しばし待つがよい。お前を絡め取るその時の呪縛から、いつか必ず 俺が助け出してやる。ああ、必ずだ。
クリス until the day comes that we meet, all I have, I give to you.
プサイ、コングルー。
December 2011. So we made it to the end of the year. That was January 2011. Akihabara. A year after all the chaos, Maho visited the Future Gadgets Lab for the first time in a long
お、
while.
来た来た。
お久しぶりね、みんな。
あー、真帆さんだ。すごく会いたかったよ。てってるー。お久しぶりです、真帆さん。元気そうで何よりだにゃ。
みんな相変わらずで安心したわ。
Surviving 2011 is hard in this universe. It is. It is.
そっちこそ変わってないね。どうせ私は小さいわよ。そういう意味で言ったんじゃないって。わかってる、冗談よ。
What's wrong, Kagari?
どうしたの？
この1年、真帆さんに会えなくて寂しかったよ。
Oh. Kagari.
ちょっとそんな抱きつかなくても。
だって
ごめん、本当は夏にも来たかったんだけど、大学の方でもいろいろあって。
The events of last January had left deep scars on Maho's lab. Of course they had. Not only was Amadeus involved, but many people in the college, including Dr. Reyes, have been involved as well.
遠いところ、よく来てくれた、真帆。
当たり前よ。私だっていろいろと関わってきたんだもの。この目で見届けるのが務めだわ。
でも、本当にいいのか？この1年の後処理が無駄になるんだぞ。
無駄になんてならないわよ。第一、この世界の未来が過去につながるって言ったのはあなたでしょ？
It's gonna be awkward talking to Leskinen after Reyes' death. I mean, we have to feign innocence, right? We have to be like, yeah, I don't, it was so sad that she died. Like, you know, what a loss to the realm of academia and small talk.
だから私はこの世界で私がすべきことをやっただけよ。
ああ、そうだったな。
I was supposed to die in 2025, but I was alive. Everyone had been fooled. The past me, everyone in the future. The world had been deceived. I thought the future was certain, but instead I found a future I didn't expect. So wouldn't I be able to deceive the world too? By doing so, avoid the future that awaited us. And if I could deceive the world, maybe I could find Steins Gate. But how to do so, unfortunately, was beyond me right now. The future me had said,
シュタインズゲート世界線への道は険しい。一度や二度やり直したところでたどり着ける道ではないだろう。けれど、まずはそこから始めることが シュタインズゲートへとつながるんじゃないか。いくつもの未来の先が過去へとつながっているんじゃないか。11年前オカリンはそう言ってた。だからさ、僕たちがいるこの世界も無駄じゃない。きっと必要な世界なんだ。少なくとも今の僕はそう思ってる。
Many futures all connected to the past. That meant there was only one thing for me to do.
橋田さん、例のものはちゃんとできたの？
もちろん、もう使えるはずだお。
An old microwave sitting in the back of the development room. It was the time leap machine that Maho had helped finish. Daru had added a new function to it.
それにしても、こんなものが世界の命運を握っていたなんてね。
A new function? That's right. Everything began here. Our fate and Kurisu had all been ruined by this device. The one difference between this and the old phone wave was that this was connected to a smartphone, not an old feature phone. D-mail, I think so. I think we get to send stickers to to the past. Text messages to the past would be detected by CERN no matter what I did, which meant we'd become a target. That would mean taking this world that I gained only at the cost of sacrificing Kurisu right back to where we started. There would be no point in that. But there were other ways to communicate now, beyond simple emails. There were other ways to send messages. The software we use now, Rhine, was one of them.
名付けて D ラインってとこかな。
Of course, the idea of using the electrons of the CRT television in a brown tube workshop to control gravity and create a singularity to send a message back in time was the same. Singularity. In astrophysics, a point of infinite gravity. Singularities are predicted to exist at the center of black holes. However, since it is impossible to observe the interior of a singularity, the existence of such cannot be proven. In a black hole, the singularity is formed by the gravitational collapse of a dying star. For example, imagine a star that is over 1 million kilometers in diameter. Now imagine that entire star's mass compressed into a space smaller than the period at the end of the sentence. That is singularity. And the amount we could send was still 18 characters, same as the email. But we didn't have to worry about CERN finding it. We didn't have to worry about Mayuri being killed. The only problem was that we couldn't send messages back before we started using Rhine. But there was nothing I can do about that. The most important thing to do right now was to make it possible.
まったく、どこにも補足されないようになんて注文つけるから結構大変だったのだぜ。抜け穴見つけるのにめっちゃ時間かかったんだからな。
He complained, but he pulled it off anyway.
さすがだ。マイフェイバリットライトアーム。
あ、何気に懐かしい響き。
Maho's face when she heard that.
でもオカリ、本当にいいの？そうだにゃ。またそのことで京奈が辛い思いをするんじゃないのかにゃ。
Isn't Daru just one of the best boys? I know, he was cute for once. This may only bring me more pain.
かもしれないな。
だったら
でも それでも俺はやらなければならない。
オカリンさん。
The Third World War was going to happen unless I could stop it. Kagari and Suzuha's presence made that obvious. There was only one future that lay before us, and it was another piece of the path that would lead us to Steins Gate. To get there, I would have to go into the past and start over. It would be fine. I was capable of starting over as many times as I needed to now. I could overcome anything until I reached the promised door. I already had the message I was going to send. Sending that message must have been why I'd come to this world line in the first place. Of course, I didn't know what I think or what I do when I'd received it, but I knew I would be successful. I would lead us to another future and to another past.
かがりさん、不安ですか？
だってもし過去が変わって平和な時代が来たらママと出会えなくなっちゃうかもしれない。
Actually, a very valid concern.
かがりちゃん。
心配ない。アトラクタフィールド理論では起こるべきものは必ず起こる。
Is it though? Well, I mean, I think for Kagari herself, it is a valid concern. I mean, I would not say that that's something that I would ensure at the cost of the world, but there are certain things, right? Like, I wouldn't say just as, you know, all the in one hand world peace, in the other Mayuri. Difficult decision, yeah?
世界線が変わろうと、君はマユリに出会うはずだ。
I don't think that's guaranteed, but I do believe that we should say that to make Kagari feel better.
本当？
ああ、俺が保証する。
Ugh, Okarin. He's like trying so hard to give everyone a happy ending.
よかったね、かがりちゃん。オカリンが保証してくれたら安心だよ。未来でもきっと会おうね。おじさん、ありがとう。
Oh, Suzu has finally happy with us for once.
礼を言われることじゃない。もともとは俺がまいた種だ。
And this was where things got really hard.
それでも言わせて。ありがとう。
I know she's a tough crowd. She is. She's very hard to please. But it's good. I think sometimes...
父さんにもplease!
I think sometimes we need a little bit of tough love.
父さんもありがとう。
もっと上目遣いで目をうるうるさせて言っておくれ、マイドーター。
Okay, Daru, you're being creepy. No. When the past changed, everything I'd done in the past year would be undone. All the futures I'd experienced and all the time it took me to come back would go away too. But they wouldn't go to waste. I was here now, and in the past, I was just about to begin my work. And then the future lay beyond, When all those lives came together, the door to the future would be waiting. Steins Gate would be waiting.
では行く
Let's
ぞ
go!
法王院教魔の名においてこれより新たなるオペレーションヘルヘイムを開始するラボメン全員準備はいいか
Linnea, Helheim. To find a way there, I would change the past again.
オーキードーキー
Haha, hee hee, hoo hoo hoo. Oh my god. Kurisu, so that someday we can be together once more. Mad scientist, trick world, linking each possibility. That is so vague. You've been to Helheim twice, you're good. That is the Kurisu ending. So that was ending number 2. What was that game called, Linnea, again? Helheim... something. Helheim Hassle. Yes, there we go. Alright, so I made a mistake the last time at the split where I went for Kurisu's ending instead of Kagari's ending. So here's a question for you guys. Should we go back to Kagari's ending right now? Like next? Or do we want... Yes, okay. That was easy. That was easy. Alright, we'll do that. You're doing puppy eyes for me now? That was such a hopeful part. I feel like Kagari's ending is not going to be hopeful at all whatsoever. A D Rhine was sent. Yes, yes it was. You say it's a good call to do that now instead of later? I think so. All right. If I can find the save and if I can do it correctly. I think it was this save. Antinomic duel. So this was... remember when Kagari was like getting really, really weak, right? And we had Maho create a device to copy her memories back to herself because we found her data file. And also, basically the soldiers were at our door, so it was like, you know, touch of a moment kind of thing. And this time, we're gonna reject the call. Because last time we took the call from, are we going forward tonight? I'm feeling okay. We can go for another hour, I think. It's perfect because I get another chance of finding a cliffhanger. So, all right. We are rejecting the call. This is the call to put Kagari's memories back and erasing Kurisu from her brain. I hesitated. Not only did I hesitate to answer it, I almost tried to tap the button to reject a call. But then Kagari's fingers beat me to the punch. Her fingers, or maybe Kurisu's, tapped the button to answer the call. And then the phone up against her head stopped ringing. All right, which one is this? 64756. Mother Goose of Mutual Recursion. Okay, I think my brain's gonna melt. The dizziness stopped. The room was pitch black. There was no one there but me. This is January 15th. Even Suzuha, who should have been living here, was gone. Oh boy. Oh, this is no good, you guys. This is no good at all. Okay. Daru, Mayuri, Ferris, Luca, and Kagari too. Everyone was gone. I was so tired and sleepy. I clutched my smartphone and lay down on the sofa. I closed my eyes, too tired to think.
Okari. Okari. ねえ、起きて。もうお昼だよ。
Someone was shaking me softly.
おかり、寝すぎだよ。もうすぐ、かがりさんも来ちゃうのに。
Kagari? The second I heard her name, my mind snapped back into alertness. I forced myself to sit up. I was sitting on a sofa in the lab. Outside the window, it was bright.
やっと起きたね。てってる。Okari?
Oh.
Mayuri nodded, satisfied, and left my side. I took a look around the room. The table was covered in notebooks and textbooks that seemed to belong to Mayuri. She was probably doing her homework. I could see Daru's huge back hunched over the PC. He shrimps like all of us. The monitor was displaying a cute anime character. He seemed to be playing another H game, unsurprising. From the look of things, the only people in the lab were him, me, and Mayuri.
Oh.
The time on my phone said it was just before noon, which meant I'd been asleep for more than 10 hours. Oh no, I must have passed out before I checked to see if the world line had changed. I listened for a moment, then I could hear the usual bustling of Akihabara outside. There was no sign of Strafo. That alone made me feel relieved.
おかり、なんだかうなされてるみたいだったよ。大丈夫？
Oh.
麦茶飲む？ 寝起きでドクペはやめた方がいいよね。
そうだな。麦茶がいい。
This is a new background track, isn't it? I don't think I've ever heard this one before.
わかった。
Mayuri went to the kitchen.
コップ全部使っちゃってる。今洗うからちょっと待っててね。
大丈夫。急がなくていい。
あ、まゆしまゆし、僕もお茶ちょうだい。
はーい。
This all felt like an old memory. It seemed like ages ago when I last had a normal conversation like this, but this was no time to be sentimental. While Mayuri was washing the cup, I needed to get things straight in my head.
変動したんだよな。
In the end, I'd hesitated at the last second. If Kagari or perhaps Kurisu hadn't stopped me, maybe the world line wouldn't have changed, and Stratfo would have caught us. But change it did. I could still feel the lingering sensations from my reading Steiner, so I was sure of it. From the look of things, Mayuri and Daru were the same as ever, and the immediate danger was gone. The reason for the change was probably the deletion of Kurisu's memories from within Kagari. Those memories must have included something that dealt with the time machine, which meant that their existence was important enough to control whether or not the world line changed. And I deleted them.
いや、逆の可能性もあるな。
Maybe, even if Maho's program hadn't worked right, the memory rewrite failed, the world line would have changed anyway? Unlike last summer, it wasn't clear what was making the world line change now. The first thing I needed to do was to see if Kagari's memories had been successfully rewritten.
お待たせ。
Her little fists! So cute. Oh, Mayuri. At the same time as I decided on my plan, Mayuri brought me a cup on the tray.
今麦茶出すからね。
She put the tray on the table and headed for the fridge. I looked and saw that there were 4 cups on the tray. 4?
前より、どうしてコップが4つあるんだ？
For Kagari?
だってかがりさんも飲みたいだろうから。
That's right, Kagari.
かがりが来てるのか？
Didn't she say that?
さっき LINE で連絡が来たよ。もうすぐ作って。
そうか。何の用で来るんだ？
オカリンが呼んだんじゃん。昨日 LINE で連絡よこしたっしょ。今日の正午にここに集合って。
He called a meeting and he doesn't remember why. Oh my.
第3回かがりたんの記憶を取り戻す方法を考える会。メンバーはオカリンと僕とかがりたん。
Interesting. So how did we come into contact with Kagari in this world line?
まあ今のところ成果ゼロだけども。
俺が呼んだ。
まゆしんも参加できたらよかったんだけど、今日はバイトがあるので。
Sure, it's a tractor field, but I would like to know how. The story of this world line. could hear Mayuri apologizing from the kitchen.
かがりさんの記憶早く戻るといいね。最近のこと以外何も覚えてないなんて寂しいもんね。
She didn't remember anything except for the recent past, so she doesn't have her memories of her childhood too. So Mayuri is not her mom, right? Is that what it is suggesting? What was going on? Kagari should have still had her memories from when she was a kid. Maybe trying to rewrite her memories had actually deleted them.
はい、おかわり。お茶どうぞ。
Mayuri handed me a cup filled with barley tea.
ありがとう。
Barley tea is delicious, by the way. I took the cup, tried my best to hide my internal shock.
タルくんのはここに置いておくね。
どうも。
You were just gonna ask that since you were my... It is good. So I really like toasted barley tea because it's like a roasty, toasty flavor. It usually is free of caffeine, I'm pretty sure. And it's just like... It's very... It tastes like grainy. Like, not texture-wise, but you know how like... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure you have had porridge before. It has that like earthy, carby taste. Beer tea. I don't know. I guess I haven't drunken beer in so many years. But beer tasted like liquid bread to me more than anything else. It's not bready though, I would say. The tea doesn't taste bready. No, I know. I'm just trying to connect to the things that you guys know. So. It would probably be the closest thing to beer that I drink for a very long time, so. I gulped down the tea, stood up from the sofa, and went over to Daru. I'm curious, I'd like to try it out. Yeah, it's delish.
誰？
何？
I lowered my voice so that Mayuri couldn't hear.
かがりの記憶の上書きは成功したのか？それとも失敗したのか？
I like Daru's face expressions in this one. Actually, I like the expressions in this game a lot. I like it especially when they're judgy. Like Maho's face occasionally and this Daru face right now. Daru looked at me for a moment, confused.
何の話？
え？
That wasn't the answer I expected.
かがりの脳内に残っているクリスの記憶を消すのは成功したのかと聞いたんだ。
It is like that. Friendly reminder would still have a sad okabe in this one. Yeah, we have not embraced the return of Ho and Kyoma in this one, unfortunately.
何その SF 設定怖い。オカリンついに中二病患者に復帰したん？
No. I froze for a moment. Daru didn't like me. Daru didn't look like he was lying. He had no reason to lie anyway. Did that mean that in this world line, Kurisa's memories had never been implanted in Kagari?
ちょっと来い。
ねえ、僕エロゲしてるんだけど。
いいから。
I dragged Daru outside the room, leaving a very confused Mayuri behind.
寒。オカリン、僕を殺す気か。
いいからちょっとだけ付き合ってくれ。確認したいことがあるんだ。
He must have sensed that I was serious because after a moment's surprise, he nodded
今の
silently.
係は記憶がないのか。
そうだよ。つか何度も言ってるっしょそれ。
タイムマシンで過去に来る前の未来の記憶も含めて。
ないってば。覚えてるのはここ最近のことだけ。
Huh? Including her memories of the future before she got on the time machine. So there is still all of that. Because Daru didn't seem surprised by that mentioning. This would be foreshadowing if we didn't do reverse order. It would be, yes.
未来のことを覚えてたら、せめてマユシにはカガリタンの正体を教えてるし。
So that relationship still exists. So Suzuha is probably still here.
それはつまりマユリは係が自分の娘だということを知らないんだな。
うん。それは秘密にしとくってオカリンが決めたんで。
ということは係が未来から来たことを知っているのは
僕とオカリンと鈴葉。
それだけ。
それだけ。オカリンが他の誰かに話してなければ。
Entirely possible, knowing our tendencies, that we would tell everyone and their mother. Have we ever erased Suzuha from existence? No, we have not. I think the closest we gotten to was in the original game, where we allowed her to send herself back to 1975 and die. I feel we need her as a fixed point because of John Titor. Okay.
そうか。すまなかった。寝ぼけてたみたいだ。夢の内容が現実とごっちゃになったらしい。
気にすんなって。僕なんか24時間夢の中で生きてますから。
Me too, Daru, me too. It's okay.
それにさ、僕としてはそういうテンション高いオカリンが久々だったから、なんか懐かしく感じたお。
Oh, Daru. Instead of answering, I took a second to think. It seemed like there were three main differences with Kagari in this world line. 1. She didn't have Kurisa's memory. 2. She didn't have her own memories from her childhood. 3. Only me, Daru, and Suzuha knew who Kagari really was. In other words, Mayuri didn't know that Kagari was her daughter.
戻ったのか。
This Kagari seemed closer to the one I'd met before the world line shifted to the Alpha world line. What? We've never met Kagari in beta, have we? Oh, he's talking about that quick shift. Because this is beta. He's talking about that quick shift to alpha when we picked up the Amadeus call. Okay, I'm following. Oh, everything seemed mostly the same as before, including the fact that we were trying to get back her memories. Did this mean that a second world line change had sent me back to the old one? Actually, let me check. It's a different... It's not that close in numbers. If I had the divergence meter, I could tell, but you do not. I was starting to think like I used to. I chuckled at myself. I should stop. No! I decided to have nothing to do with the time machine or the time leap machine. All I could do was help Kagari get her memories back.
オカリン、なんかさっきから変じゃね？
いや、大丈夫だ。気にするな。
ならいいけど。つっか、いい加減寒いから戻っていい？
ああ、俺も凍えてきた。
Daru and I raced back inside the room. When I got back, I could just barely make out Mayuri's voice.
探し物ひとつ
That made me so happy.
星の笑う声風にまたたいて手を伸ばせばつかめるよ
That is so sweet. Let's listen to that again.
探し物ひとつ星の笑う声風にまたたいて手を伸ばせばつかめるよ
Right? Oh, I should have known she would have the sweetest singing voice. Mayuri hadn't noticed us come back in. She was putting her textbooks into her bag, and it sounded like she was also singing a song.
それ、誰の歌だ？
It was only then she realized I was there.
おかえり寒いのにお外で何話してたの？
ちょっと今期のアニメについての意見交換をしてたのだぜ。
すごいね。
なあ、今の歌って。
あ、もしかして口ずさんじゃってた？探し物ひとつ星の笑う声風にまたたいて手を伸ばせばつかめるよ
I heard something fall near the front entrance. We need a door. Guys. At some point, Kagari had opened the front door. This is happening way too often. She was standing there with a shocked expression, her mouth opening and closing. I know, we need to crowdfund for a door for future Gadgets Lab. Her bag was lying at her feet. She must have dropped it in surprise when she came in. But did anything that surprising happen?
あ、かがりさん。てってるー。そうその歌私知ってる。
Oh? From the future?
そうなのか？
その歌は
Kagari was trying to point at Mayuri, but shaking too much to do
その
it.
歌
She fell to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut.
かがり
探し物ひとつ
Okay, praise the VA. She sounds so much more mature now. It's incredible.
星の笑う声
It's very subtle, but it's there.
風に瞬いて手を伸ばせばつかめるよママなーにかがりちゃんそれ何の歌えへへこれはねとっても大事な歌なのどんな歌なの泣いている人を笑わせたいっていう歌かな
Oh.
泣いてる人を笑わせるのが大事なのそれも大事だけどそうじゃなくてねこの歌はママとかがりちゃんをつなげてくれた歌なのこの歌があったから出会えたんだよその歌がなかったらママはかがりのママになってくれなかったかもしれないのそんなの嫌ああごめんそういう意味で言ったんじゃないの何があってもママはかがりちゃんのママだよでもそうだなかがりちゃんにはこの歌覚えておいてほしいないつかかがりちゃんが大事な人と出会った時のためにその人が泣いている時笑わせられるようにほら一緒に歌おう探し物ひとつ星の笑う声
The question still is why the hell was Kagari ever sent into the past in the first place? Yeah, I mean, this certainly... Hold on, I can do this right, I promise. This certainly doesn't look like World War III, does it? So... curious.
探し物ひとつ星の笑う声上手次はねどこに行ったのねえママ行かないで
What happened? All right. What perfect timing for a stop for the day, right? Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. You guys enjoyed a story. I look for an awful, wonderful, delicious cliffhanger. We will save over Carice's file. Thank you for being here. Oh, Lenia. It's okay. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here soon enough. And I think I actually make it so that I'll be on tomorrow at 9. So it will be the whole... Fine, I don't care. Okay. I'm gonna sell you more toys? I'm not getting the pun, if there's a pun. Oh, I see. Eh. All right, you wonderful people. I will be back in less than 12 hours, so don't miss me too much. Don't lose sleep over this. We will be back soon enough, all right? No, thank you for being here, Maki. It's always fun hanging out with you guys. All right, we're not gonna raid because... yeah. So, that's it. That's how I feel too. Quack. Have a wonderful night, y'all, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Take care, stay safe. Until then, thank you as always for dropping by, and have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you may be, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.